How's it, guys? This is Davey FP and welcome back to the Deadline with Davey live stream. Sorry for being late. I do apologize. About 15 minutes. I was out for breakfast and took longer than expected. Let's just say that. But now we're here. 45 minutes of pure double game week 31 content coming your way. I have done my transfers. I'll talk about them in a little bit. But otherwise, you guys can post your questions as usual. We'll try and get as through many as possible in as least time as possible, considering the fact that we have lost a valuable 15 minutes. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying the Saturday. Daylight saving in the UK, so we now are an hour ahead or behind wherever you are around the world. Luckily for me in SA, that's going to lead to some earlier Champions League games, which I'm looking forward to this week. But otherwise, hopefully your Saturdays have been well. Just let me know if the stream is looking good, audio sounds fine, all that good stuff. Then we can head on to what's happening. SH asking me if I'm wearing the Salah tee. So apparently the Salah tee was bad luck, because I think last time we wore it, he ended up blanking or something like that. I think all I can remember is him missing a penalty and ending on 0 points. So maybe that was when we wore the Salah tee. So unfortunately, I'm wearing it today, but I'll probably put on the Liverpool t-shirt before we head into the game. I just didn't want to wear it to breakfast. I don't want to shove the fact that I'm a Liverpool fan in everyone's face. So we'll put the shirt on after the stream, but for now, we're just sticking with the normal t-shirt. In terms of the transfers, we can get onto these quite quickly. I did actually do them last night. I'm going to be using fpl.team to showcase the team just because I prefer the layout. I think when we do use the normal website, it's a little bit zoomed out. I think this is a little bit better of kind of a structure. So obviously Salah's not going to be on the bench. I'm going to put him in for Saiss. And then Trent's coming in at the moment for Luca Digne, but we'll discuss Trent's situation right now. Captaincy on Salah, no brainer. Vice captain on Son. The transfer we did last night was going to take Kilman out and Cancelo in. And then we took Raul Jimenez out for Weghorst. So yes, we are benching Breuer, but it is what it is at the current moment. And let me just quickly adjust the size of the screen so that you guys can see all the good stuff. We might just have to go with that for now. I think it looks fine. I know Son's slightly cut off, but I'm pretty sure you guys won't be that pedantic about it. Harry Salah's not on the bench. He's currently in my team. This is the team that we currently have. I made the two transfers last night because Cancelo was expected to rise as well as Weghorst. Weghorst didn't have the rise, only Cancelo did. So we've pocketed 0.1, I guess, but in the long run, not too much. But as you guys would have known on the team selection, I had the exact money for it. So that's why I had to move tonight. In terms of Cancelo versus Reece James, it's really kind of a 50-50 call in my eyes. I just feel that I want Cancelo from now to the end of the season, so I'm going to bring him in now. I think maybe some people are being a little bit short-sighted. I know if you guys have a wild card or a free hit, or maybe more chances than me coming up, I don't know how, but if you're willing to take hits, then yes, you can look short-term. But in terms of a long-term move, I want Cancelo this season, so that's what I'm going to go for. As Sebastian's reminding me there, Ramsdale is currently injured. I don't think he's actually going to play, but I think he has a better fixture than Forster does. So I'm going to hope that he does feature on Monday. So I'm going to put him in goal and just hope that he starts. In terms of Trent, I'm hoping for some early team news. I think we should potentially get it just because of the amount of Liverpool journalists that we do have. So I'm going to wait and see. If he's benched, then obviously I'm going to bring on a Digne or Saiss, but I'm expecting him to potentially either play or not come off the bench. So I think that you guys should be fine with starting him, even if we don't get news. As Marco is saying, we've missed you, missed FPL 100%. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the videos. This deadline stream might be the last one for a while. I don't think I'm going to do one next week, and then the week following that, I'm actually going to Namibia for a week, so I'm not going to be able to do any streams there. So I think for the next 2 game weeks, this is probably going to be the last stream. So get your money's worth, guys. Get your questions in, because we might not be able to talk. I will probably do some Twitter spaces while over there in the other country. Karen saying late but worth the wait. Thank you, Karen. I do appreciate the support. And yes, as I said, I do apologize for being late. Real life just caught up with me slightly. Harry saying I've got the same lineup but have Rudiger instead of Cancelo. I've got 2.4 in the bank. Do you think I should bring in a Man City defender this week for a -4, or should I wait? I think this week is fine to wait. What you can do is then prolong that for as long as possible, because they have Liverpool next week. You're not going to bring him in. So I think You can wait if you want to. I just think Cancelo, if he starts against Burnley, potential haul. Same thing with James though. If James starts, it's maybe a better opportunity of getting a haul, but I just feel like I would rather go with Cancelo. Gorilla saying, is this a wild card? No, it's not a wild card. This is going to be my actual team. I think it's a compliment though. If you're saying this is a wild card, that means my team looks fine. But unfortunately, I used the wild card in game week 26. But yeah, Harry, to go back to your question, I don't think I would do a -4 this week for Man City defender, unless your defenders are very bad. Maybe they have like terrible fixtures or something like that. Then you can do it. Jake saying, how much have you in the bank? I've got 0.0 in the bank currently. So I'm going a little bit skimp on the bank money, but at least our team looks quite good. What's your team selection of game week 38, just in case no more live streams? So Sonia, I will be doing a stream before game week 38. 100%. I might even do the what you call it, the match of the day challenge for that. We'll see. But hopefully I survive. I think I will. but we will be having some deadline streams after game week 33, I think. Game week 34, I think. Martinelli or Odegaard. Oliver, I think Martinelli has the highest ceiling, but I think Odegaard's might be slightly more nailed. But I still would go with Martinelli in my opinion. Should I sell Elise? If so, for who? Chewy, I don't know if I would. So Elise is injured at the current moment. So you can bring in any options. I think the main priority is probably Leicester options. And then you just got to hope that you can predict who starts both doubles. I think the Leicester options are the most sensible. But there are some other cheaper options. Maybe a Martinelli, a Saka, those sort of players that I would also get in if you don't have an Arsenal triple up. I don't get why people are still picking Rafinha. So I didn't pick Rafinha, I just have him. I'm not going to take him out for the next two. I would have taken him out last week if I knew that he was going to be not in the squad. So that's why I still have him. I mean, I'm going to keep him for Southampton at home and Watford away. And then I'll take him out for whoever in game week 33. Quick question. Exact same team, but 2 free hits remaining. What would you... So G-Ball, how would you use it? I would free it in 33 and I'd free it in 36. That's what I would do. Then what I would look at, go back to my chip strategy video, look at the game week 37 fixtures, and just kind of try and bring in those players that potentially have doubles in 37, that also have great fixtures in like 34, 35, because remember, you're going to free it in 36 and 33 anyways. Start Adams or Huang, outstart Adams 100%. Adams is my favorite Southampton attacker. I just can't bring him in because I don't have the upgrades. But as I mentioned on my wildcard draft, I would choose Adams over Breuer. Southampton haven't been scoring that much recently, but I still do think in the last couple games they could potentially get something. How will you get your final team next week? How will we get... So you'll get my team, Brina, you'll get my team next week. Only game week... Oh, so you're talking about my final team. I will post it on Twitter. Or what I'll do is, in my team selection, I think the team selection next week's going to be pretty straightforward. Touch wood there. Let's hope for not too many injuries. But I'll probably just talk about my team selection video, and then that will be that. I'm probably going to bank a transfer next week anyways. What's up, Ty? How you doing, brother? Hopefully you're having a good Saturday morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are around the world. SH saying transfer done and confirmed. So obviously someone was asking me about my transfers. Yeah, are these transfers confirmed? Yeah. So whenever I tweet it on Twitter, I don't tweet ifs, buts, or maybes. I tweet absolutes. So if it's on my Twitter account, you guys know it's confirmed. I even put the little tick next to it to let you guys know if you're having any worries. Peter saying, thoughts on Son to Sancho's differential? I do have Kane and I would keep Son this week, but then I can understand next week if you want to go for it. But I think I would wait and see on United because you probably want to bring Sancho in with the priority of game week 33. I just want to see how they're doing. Barry saying, David, this guy's, I wish, I support Liverpool already. I just have to get the accent. Cancelo from -4, not Hashem, who are you taking out? You guys have to kind of look at... There's probably two scenarios here. The first one is if you have to start a player and Cancelo would come straight into the starting 11, or like me, I took Kilman out who was on my bench. So I could have played a Digne or a Saiz, and I think I wouldn't have taken a -4 for Cancelo then. I don't think I would take a hit for Man City or Chelsea options, unfortunately. Unkit with another 3 months of being a legend. Thank you, appreciate it. He's saying let's go Davey with the emojis. So thanks Unkit, I appreciate it, brother. Hopefully you're having a great game week and hope your season is actually coming along quite nicely. Vincent saying any electricity outages? No, but I didn't have water for like 3 days this week. So it's either electricity or it's water in SA. Unfortunately, that's always out. Bring James in for Kilman on the free transfer, would then bench either Kulusevski or Doherty. Thoughts? I'm not against it, but I'm also not for it, if you kind of know what I'm saying. I think Kulusevski or Doherty could bang this week. But in terms of the Maverick moves, I think James in for Kilman is understandable because of the blank in game week 33. So I think what I would do is probably, I think I would do the free transfer. And then out of the two, this is a tough one who to bench, because I would say that Newcastle's defense is better than their attack. And therefore, Kulusevski probably has a slightly lower expectation than Doherty. I think that Spurs can keep a clean sheet, but maybe they don't score as many for Kulusevski to be involved in. So I think you probably play the attacker in this case, but I think Doherty's close there, Ty. That's a tough one, unfortunately. Budget striker besides Weghorst, Adams, but I think Adams is more expensive. Breuer is another one that you could look at. Then there are a couple of options that potentially maybe like a Gallagher from Leeds. I think that he potentially could start, but I don't know. It's the forward department's hard enough, so when you're putting a restriction on budget, it makes it even harder. So just bring in a Gallard or someone really cheap like a Greenwood in I think does he play for Leeds as well? I think so. Because then you can kind of upgrade another position maybe. Winston saying nice haircuts. I got it done I think last week, so no stream last week, but yeah, it was getting a bit long, looking a bit ratchet, so I had to get it snipped. Are these confirmed moves? Shahan, yes, again they are confirmed. Weghorst 2 goals, Liverpool win and win the league. Gary, I'll be ecstatic for that. That's the thing about Cancelo, is that I'm bringing him in almost as like a safeguard against my emotions, because if Cancelo loses the clean sheet or they lose or drop points, then I'm happy. But if he gets points, I guess it's a little bit of satisfaction from my sadness, if you know what I'm saying. Kevin saying no James. So I can go a little bit more in depth into what I think about James. I explained this in the video. The Chelsea schedule is hectic for the next few games. They play this week, they play against Real Madrid, then they play Real Madrid next week as well. In between there, they're easier fixtures, inverted commas, and I kind of feel like Chelsea, they can tick along well enough without some of their star options. I think the attack is going to be an absolute minefield. As Ziyech, Lukaku, Werner, they're going to have rotation madness with the Havertz, Mount, those sort of options. So I wouldn't touch the attack, but from a defensive point of view, I guess you could argue that James is slightly more nailed, but Aspi could always play there. Maybe they play a back four in some of these cases, who kind of knows. So I do think that James will get minutes. I just do worry about the fact that he came back quite quickly into the swing of things and then got injured again. So it's almost like they might be a little bit more careful with him, and I do think that Tuchel will prioritize the Champions League. Gbal, how's the Discord coming along? So actually have set up the Discord. I should actually just, I think I'm just going to send the link to you members, and then you guys can test it out. It's not the best server. I'm going to put my hands up here. It's not the best server at all, but it's going to be enough for what I wanted to do. Maybe some Q&A chats, maybe just talk to you guys on Discord, answer some questions, that sort of thing. John is become a member and he's asked the question. You see, John, this is a clever way of doing it, because then you're asking a question, but you're also getting the subscription to the membership. So he's become a legend. Sorry, John, not a supporter, legend. Saar or Sanchez? To play today, Brighton play... I need to even remind myself who they're playing. I do apologize. I know that Saar plays Aston Villa. That's not actually the worst fixture in the world, but I almost favor Villa over Wolves in that case. I just don't know how they're going to sit up without Ruben Neves. Oh, Sanchez, 100%. Oh no, they're playing Norwich. That's a very good fixture. So I don't own the Brighton assets. I'm not that clued up with them. But John, just play Sanchez. He's back in training apparently. I don't think there was any concerns about him missing. But yeah, go for Sanchez in that case. Rafa is saying I'm a legend too. I know that you are. Thank you for that. Jiba, I've been through a lot of servers because of FUT. We'll help you out with ideas. Okay, Jiba, 100%. I'll reach out to you. Siddharth has become a supporter for 2 months in a row. Thank you, Siddharth. I do appreciate it. Keep also Coutinho for a free transfer. Depends on who you bring in. The thing that you must know about Aston Villa is that they potentially have a double in 34 or 35. Now, the chance of that happening is slightly less likely than I think we would like. I think if it was kind of a confirmed one, then that would have been fine. But there is a chance of it. That's why I'm keeping Luca Digne. Just because, I mean, if they do have a double, I'll play my Villa assets. It'll be quite a nice double, to be honest. So you could keep Coutinho. But if you want to bring another asset, then that's fine. What I would maybe say, Nishan, is maybe wait until 33. Because then what you could do is take Coutinho to a Barnes or Madison. And by game week 33, we'll know if they do double in 34, 35, I think. So I would try keep it, but obviously if you don't have any good players on your bench or something like that, then you can also look at it. Sebastian saying Ramsdale set to miss. Yeah, I think he will miss, but I'm just playing him because Forster can come off the bench. I'm not too interested in making a goalkeeper transfer with Ramsdale's having some nice fixtures and doubles coming up. Would you go continue to Havertz or Saiss to Reece James? I would probably go Saiss to Reece James out of those two. Now, if those are worth a -4, I don't know. I think that if you're going to do it for a -4, it's got to be this week, because if James bangs this week, you're going to want to bring him in next week, then he might get rested. So I think if you want to do those moves, do it this week for a -4 as you're kind of prolonging or extending the amount of game weeks that they can be paid off in. For fun, a bench option on wildcard future game weeks. Liam, I think so. In terms of Leicester, all that I know is that currently it's Amartey and Soyuncu, and Fofana will definitely come in for one of them. So what you can do is, imagine you get Amartey in and Soyuncu loses the place. Then Amartey could be a great option. But I think Fofana is a safe one, but I just don't know about the Leicester defense. It seems like there could be some rotation there. Rio with the sad face saying, Davey, I still have Watkins. What to do? I have Vachos too. In terms of the striker options, not many great options. I think if you can go to Kane, then that's the best scenario. Otherwise, maybe just keep him. I don't know. Or what you can do is just downgrade Watkins, but it's similar to the thing with Coutinho. They potentially have a double coming up, but if you can upgrade another position or get another player, it's fine. Joshua saying, Chalobah White. Okay, saying the Doherty TA to James / Cancelo. So, perfect world. I worry about Chalobah's place. So he would probably be the no-brainer there. I think White's fine for the future. Doherty's also fine. Trent's fine. But if Trent misses out today, I would be tempted to take him out. That's actually what I wanted to say, is that if we do get news that Trent's out, I might go for Reece James. So let's just wait. Joshua, let's just extend that question for a little bit of time. Otherwise, if we don't get news, I would try. But it's quite hard with the budgets because Chalobah's a lot cheaper than a Trent, if you know what I'm saying. So I don't exactly know if you're asking for two, but just drop it in the chat below and I'll answer. Oladapo is saying, Jimenez replacements. I also plan on freeing in 33. I think Weghorst is fine to go for, but a move that I also like is that is downgrading Jimenez to like a Gallard or a Greenwood or something like that, because then you can upgrade another department. So I would say, look at your team structure. If you can downgrade Jimenez, that's perfectly fine. You already do have Weghorst. Maybe try and get Kane, but I don't know. That could open up, that could kind of ruin your team. I would like to get Kane in, but I don't know. 0.6 short of the transfers. Any suggestions? Same team, I have Ramsey instead of Kulusevski. Okay, so Andy, what you could do is you could either go for Laporte or you could go for Reece James. I'd probably go for James in your scenario. I think he is about 0.7 cheaper than Cancelo, or 0.8 now. So I think you should be able to afford James, and I would just go for him. James or Cancelo, I have Rudiger. So, Rafa, I went for Cancelo, so obviously I think he's a good pick. But, either of those two, it's a 50-50. Depends on how maverick you are, I'd say. I said this last night, but last night I was feeling a bit conservative. So, I went with Cancelo because I want him for the rest of the season. Whereas with James, who kind of knows how many minutes he's going to get? Whereas if the Prem title stays kind of on par with Liverpool, Man City competing, I think Cancelo starts the majority of games. Should I transfer in Trent for this week? So, Ankit, don't transfer in Trent. I think you can just leave it. You can transfer in Robbo. Robbo is fine to transfer in, but not Trent. Unless Trent obviously starts, but I don't know if we're going to get news on that. So, Darth saying Trent, Saiss for Cancelo and James. Considering Trent's next 3 fixtures. So Darth, this was a move that I was also considering. I don't know if I mentioned this in the team selection or the transfer plan, but it was a move that I could do. And I actually do like it. The only thing I would say, though, is if Trent doesn't play today, I would do it. But if he does start, then I don't think it's worth it. But I do like the moves. But I think you're in the perfect scenario here. If we get early team news and Trent's benched, those moves look locked in for me. So I think that looks good. Should have tweeted that deadline should be moved to 1 hour before kickoff from now as April Fool's joke, missed opportunity. But that would have been a good one. But I'm actually a little bit angry. I'm still a bit salty about that, because do you guys remember last season when we got all the early team news? It was like absolute heaven. We knew which players were starting, which players weren't, and it was actually quite an advantage. But I do understand that it's a bit weird. if you want to know how useless I've actually been today, I had earphones in, but I wasn't even listening to music. So now I have started the music. Rafa Reza, I hope we get news on Trent. I'm also hopeful, but I'm a bit reserved because in the past couple of game weeks, we've expected early team news and we haven't got it. And it's been simple things. It's been like, has Van Dijk traveled with the team? We didn't even know that. I mean, how don't we know that, but we can know a lineup? So I don't know if we're actually going to get it. I have your starting 11 and Robbo. Who should I put on first on my bench? I would probably put, I think, Doherty on my bench first. Kulusevski and Doherty, it's a toss-up, but I think I would probably just bench Doherty, and then if Trent doesn't play, you just have Doherty to come on. Prahib saying can only play one. Broja, Madison, or Barnes. I'd play Broja. I'd bench Madison and Barnes. It's quite hard to predict out of Madison and Barnes who's going to score more, so I would just bench both of them and play Broja. Broja's fixture's good. I think I'm a little bit skeptical about actually benching him, but it's the way the cookie crumbles with my team. And I mean, I just have to hope that maybe it doesn't bang. Yeah, captain in the first game. So what's that quote? Gandhi always says, don't back the early kickoff, but I'm backing it. It's Mo Salah against Watford. Unless he does get benched, then maybe we don't captain him. But yeah, I'm perfectly fine with doing it. How do you feel that so many on here don't think for themselves and want to copy your team? So I think the copying your team is an interesting debate. I always say that, like, I would understand it if FPL wasn't a luck-based game. But, like, you can't go at the start of the season and be like, oh, like, Davey's going to get a top 10k finish. I know we have got, like, 2 in the last 3 seasons, but you can't have that expectation. It is a luck-based game, so, I mean, if people want to copy me, that's fine. What I try to do is, like, I put my moves out there so that maybe it's, like, a confirmation bias for other people, or they say, like, okay, Davey's going for Cancelo, but I think Reece James is better. And then they go for Reece James. And then they in my comments saying that you should have gone Reece James, which I do always appreciate, guys. Any comment's a good comment. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting debate. We might have it in the preseason, I think. But I don't think it's that hectic, to be honest. James saying, would you take a hit for James for Trent? I've Robbo. I wouldn't take a hit only if Trent's out. I can go check Twitter for you guys quickly, just to make sure we haven't got any news. But as far as I know, there hasn't been any confirmed news about Trent. It's so annoying when, like, Twitter loads tweets from, like, yesterday. Like, I don't need to see yesterday's tweets. I want to see today's tweets. I'm just getting a reminder of the World Cup draw. Can I get some Fs in chat for South Africa? Because we didn't qualify. We didn't even make the qualifications for Africa. So yeah, I was a little bit bleak. Actually, I think I was going to go to Qatar if SA qualified. I think it would have been a quite nice World Cup to go for. Yeah, so if you guys are on Twitter, I always do appreciate if you guys can just check, and then you can send me anything you do see. Just please make sure that it is confirmed, because I don't need any fake news, especially with this massive decision coming up. But what I will say is that if we do get news that Trent is out, I'm quite tempted to actually do. I'm actually quite tempted to do James in for him. I could do Robertson. So as James is saying, yeah, lost 5-0 to France, but France are a good team. You know, I'm not expecting us to beat France. We did beat them, I think, in the 2010 World Cup. It was either a 1-0 win or 1-1 draw, but I think we did. We scored a header. Yeah. Would you take a -4 Ramsdale to Pope? Henry, I don't think I would do a -4 for a goalkeeper. I just think if Ramsdale plays, then we're looking fine. But if your second goalkeeper is pretty bad, then maybe consider it. But I don't like doing a goalkeeper transfer anyway, so then making a -4 hit for it just makes it a little bit worse, I think. Naz saying, how's it play Cucurella Saka, please? I'd play Saka. I play the attacker in that situation. It's a hard game to call that Brighton one, but I do still think you should play your Brighton assets if you can. But, I mean, Norwich have to score some goals to get out of relegation. There are Jimenez replacement options. There's 2 options I would go for. Kane, if you can afford it, but you might not be able to. Weghorst as a little bit of a punt, or I would just downgrade him to a Gallart or a Greenwood and then upgrade another department. Those are the 3 scenarios I would go for. Twisted saying 3.1 in the bank, so rich boy, yeah, and 2 free transfers. Can do Sayis Digne to Cancelo James without hits, worth it? Then have to bench Tierney and Breuer, or just yeah. So I can see the appeal of Cancelo and James, but I don't think it's worth benching Tierney then. Breuer's fine to bench. I guess Tierney's fine to bench. I like those moves though. Your team must be insane if you can do those two for free. I just think because you can do it for free, I'd almost just say go for it. And then, I mean, if one of them's benched, if Trent's benched, you can always just get Tierney off. So the conservative approach is just to do one. I think Cancelo's the better one out of those two if you're going to go on one game week. And then you can just always bank. What's your chip strategy, Twisted? If you're going to be using chips in the upcoming game weeks, then I think I would just do those transfers. But if you're not, then I would say just do the one. And Neil Murray saying Breuer or White as first sub for Trent. Breuer, because if Trent, unless you're playing a back four, but if you're playing a back three, then White's going to come on anywhere for Trent. But I would say Breuer in front of Trent. Breuer in front of White on your bench. Barnes or Sayis in the first 11. Milos, that is a tough one. I would just play Barnes there because of the attacking threat. Who knows if Wolves will keep a clean sheet? They've been pretty bad. Will saying, you made transfers yet, mate? I made them last night, Will. I confirmed them on Twitter. It was Cancelo and Weghorst in for Kilman and Raul Jimenez. Coutinho, Sancho, or Jota? Jota's a punt there, Mohammed. That's actually a nice one to go for, but I would probably say a Sancho just because it has the double in 33. Kilman to Burnley defend over Cancelo 5 games. So Dave, I can understand that, but it is Burnley after all. So I think it's fine. But if you can get Cancelo, then get him. But if you can't, then maybe you can go for a Burnley defender. But yeah, I don't know. Transfer plans and hello. Zodiac, Cancelo and Weghorst in for Kilman and Raul Jimenez. I don't know if you were a biggest fan of those moves. I think it was just the wildcard draft that was there. G-Red saying spicy, Robert captain maybe. Only if Salah's out. I wouldn't captain a Liverpool defender when they're playing Watford. But I mean, maybe Robbo finally scores a goal this week. You never kind of know. But I would stick with Salah as long as we don't get news that he's benched. Jimenez and Coutinho out for Mahrez and Weghorst in from -4 hit. Daryl, if you think Mahrez will start today and 33, then yeah, go for it. But I do think he might be favoured in the Champions League. I think the Jimenez to Weghorst move looks good, but the Coutinho one might be a little bit weird, especially if they do double in 34-35. Jock saying, got a sneaky feeling Salah won't start. I'm almost like the opposite. I think I'm 100% sure that Salah will start. I don't know. I just think that there's no obvious reasons for me unless he's injured. That's the one thing. Even if Trent doesn't play, Breuer off the bench is probably better than most. So Harry, I won't get Trent off the bench. Though I'll get the boy Luca Digne because I need 3 defenders. Tierney or Breuer first off the bench. I have Adams and Weghorst. Well, I'd play Tierney there, just as a bit of cover for the Arsenal. You already do have Adams. I would split the odds. That's the conservative approach. The more maverick approach is to have Breuer first, because then you're kind of hoping that Southampton batter leads. Another one there, I think it was Roberts and DCL in place of Kilman and Jimenez. That's a punt to go for. That's more of a punt play, but I'm fine with it. But I just don't have high hopes for Burnley. I know I've just brought in Weghorst. I mean, what am I saying? But I don't have high hopes for Burnley and Everton, to be honest. Last number saying, what's up, Davey? Nothing much in you. Enjoyable Saturday here. And hopefully it's also doing good by you, last number. Play Breuer or Ramsey? I play Breuer. Someone said here, Saka versus Smith Rowe. Saka, if you can afford Saka. If you can't, Smith Rowe is fine, but I'd probably go Martinelli then. Jay Cartwright saying smash the like button. Jay, I swear you're always the one that says smash the like button. I appreciate it. Ewan North saying continue to Sancho for a -4 or someone else. As I've mentioned, I like the Sancho pick because I think if you want him for 33, but I want a little bit more time with United. I want to just see, I want them to simmer. I want to see if they're in good form, taking on Norwich and Liverpool. Then maybe I could bring in a Fernandes or Ronaldo. Sancho's fine to take a punt on though. But as I said, with the -4 scenario, it might be a bit weird. Look, if you have to play Coutinho this week, then maybe the -4 is worth it. when are you running the 2 Oceans? So currently I'm getting my running fitness up quite a bit. Maybe in the upcoming years or something like that. But I don't know if it's not a kind of a plan I have currently. I'm just trying to run my 5 and 10Ks properly, and then maybe we can focus on the bigger runs. Sliming saying Football Fix algorithm thinks Son tomorrow is. What do you think? Not this week. So what the algorithm probably is saying is that it expects him to start, and I do agree. If Morris is going to be playing the next 3 versus Son, I think Morris would outperform him. But I just think it might not take substitutions and playing time into account. So I would keep Son this week. We need Rassi to coach a Bafana, says James. 100%. I think then we would be one of the best physical teams in Africa. Davey, what do I do if half my team is injured? So Jason, I've mentioned this multiple times to you. I think that you should delete your team because I think you're currently like 3 millionth in the world. So, at least maybe start fresh. Maybe you can get better than your current team. But no, I would just wildcard. If half your team's injured, I think you're still at the wildcard, so just do that. Continue slash Kulusevski to Havertz. Is it a good idea? I don't like the Chelsea attack just because I think there might be rotation there. But yeah. Ty saying, give yourself a challenge. Don't get top. Okay, yeah, 100. So that's actually a good idea. Don't get top 5K, but currently I think top 10K might be a stretch. So, but then we can run 2 Oceans. Maybe we can do that. That's actually a good idea. Last number saying, would you take out Cody for Reece James from -4? Are you playing Cody? The minus. So let me explain why I don't really like the -4s this week for Cancelo or James. It's just the fact that if they do get benched and they don't come on, you were going to play the guy anyway. So your -4 hit is worthless then. If you do take a -4 hit and they keep a clean sheet and get subbed early, then that's fine. You've paid off on it. But for that -4 to pay off, in the long run, they have to outperform them, which I do think is fine. Or they have to bang this week. So that's why I'm a little bit hesitant. But I think if you guys are fine with saying, listen, I am expecting Reece James to have a potential of being rested, but I'm fine with it because he has such a high ceiling, then I would say it's fine to go for. But you have to make that decision. I can't, unfortunately, because of all the uncertainties about rotation, I can't give you guys advice. And I want to give you guys the best advice as possible. But I would say that just think of it yourself. If you're fine with him potentially being rested, then go for it. I think that move could pay off in the long run. I'm just going to say that. Is this your final lineup? It is, unless we do get news about Trent. If Trent's out, I'll probably bring James in. That's just what I'm thinking about. Imagine if Trent bangs against Man City. But then I'll be happy anyway, because then we would have probably won. Stay with Son or return Salah in the squad. So VR, I would probably do the Salah move, unless we do get news of him not starting. I just think that this week Salah is a great option, especially for captaincy. And I would know, as someone that has not captained Salah in a week that the majority have, and then he bangs, that it is a little bit painful. I'm just going to put that out there. Ramsey or Forster? Is Ramsey a goalkeeper? I don't think so. I don't know what you're asking with that question, unfortunately. Zodiac, which one of these would you play? Rafinha, Doherty, Saiz, Broya, and watch bench order. It's between Rafinha and Broya. I'd probably play Rafinha over Broya just because he might be a little bit more integral to that Leeds lineup. I would probably say Broya's first, Doherty second, Saiz third. But it's super close. I can understand why that's quite a dilemma for you. Have you checked like projected points for them? Maybe that will help you out. But I think Rafinha will probably be highest on there. And I think maybe Doherty will be second. But I would say Rafinha, play Rafinha, first Broya, second Doherty, third Saiz. Salah said, man said delete your team. I only say that in extreme cases. No, I'm joking. I just said it because I know what Jason's team looks like. Rudiger, James on a wild card. James, if you're on a wild card, I would be all over James. I think on a wild card, you have to take some punts, and that's what I would go for. Andy saying, cheers, my guy. What about Saiz? Jimenez, Cancelo, Vachos, 4.5 defender. If you're going to go for 4.5, I'd go with a Burnley, probably defender, or maybe a Newcastle one. If you really want Cancelo, can't you just... Oh, wait, you probably can't do that. Yeah, so if you really want Cancelo, I'm fine with that. And then in terms of a 4.5, I would say if you can bench the Newcastle player, I would go for like a Saar, one of them, just because their game week 33 double is insane, unless you're using kind of another chip. But I think that if you're not going to use a chip in 33, get a Newcastle defender in. Will saying start Adams over Breuer, keen to ship out soon. I would start Adams over Breuer, yeah, definitely. Team news check. Okay, so I'll check team news. I don't think there is team news, but you probably just asked me to check. Start Doherty, White, Rafinha, or Adams. Doherty, White, Rafinha. Josh, your team must be stacked, brother, if you're asking that question. I'd start. I think. I don't know. Adams. I'd start Adams probably out of those four, but it's tough there. Yeah. So Zodiac. I think Rafinha will be projected. His stats are just so good. Okay, so I don't see any team news. Oh, sorry. Can you guys still see? Yeah. I don't see any team news, guys, unfortunately. What? Sorry. I keep on trying to scroll to the left, but then it goes to my other monitor. I don't see any early team news as of yet. Okay. Salah starts. Yeah, so Salah starts, guys. That's from a very reliable source. Yeah, so Salah starts. That's the captain on him. That's a no-brainer there, in my opinion. So if you have Salah, captain him. If you don't, maybe look at trying to bring him in. I'm just hoping we get some more news about Trent here. 8 minutes left. It does fill me with hope that we have got some sources, though. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep on answering questions, but if you guys do see some news about Trent, then just please bring it up. Yeah. So let me just catch up here. So confused about when to use my remaining chips. So last time I can give you, just watch the chip strategy video I did. What I would say is if you have the majority of chips, I like bench boost 33, wildcard 34, free at 36. Or what you can do is if you only have the wildcard bench boost, then you can always just, actually I think I've just confused myself with a lot of questions. But yeah, you can always just drop me a DM and then I can try help you out. Or we can talk about on the Discord, which I will soon launch. Then just join that and then we can chat. Laporte or James? I'd say James slightly over that one. But I think Laporte is quite nailed. Okay, so Joshua, which two would you start? I would start Rafinha and Adams out of those two. Bench Doherty and White. Gavin saying, yeah, so by the Klopp comments, 100%, I do think, look, my expectation is that he will be benched or not playing. Okay, so let's see. Apparently there's some other news. Okay, flip. Okay, so Trent's benched. Are we gonna do James in here? Or are we gonna do Robertson in here? Oh goodness. Okay, so no Trent apparently. Oh, now I guess it's the decision of whether to bench Trent or whether to do a transfer. So for a -4 hit, the only thing I think about it is that the -4 for Robbo would mean that he would have to get a clean sheet against Watford to outdo that move, and then I'm losing 0.5. But I could do a -4 for James, but I'm just worried about his rotation. Do I think Robertson outperforms Trent from now to the end of the season? Or do I think that maybe a Digne could get something? Yeah, I don't know. I think I might just play this conservatively. I might just bench. Yeah, I think Trent's out, to be honest. So what I'm gonna do then? Is I'm gonna bench Trent then. And I'm gonna play Digne. So that's currently what I'll do. But then now we have to decide if we're gonna do a move. I don't know. Maybe we should have a. Do you want to have a poll? How do you do a poll? Okay, I'll put a poll. I think it should be launching soon. So, Trent out for -4. No. Yes for James or yes for Robbo. You guys can vote on that. We have 4 minutes left, but I don't know. Imagine Trent, oh, someone says here, imagine Trent started right mid. That'll be insane. Yeah, everyone's saying now, imagine if Trent starts like right mid or center mid or something. Yeah, I don't know if I do Robbo. I mean, imagine Robbo also gets benched. And there hasn't been any confirmation about Robbo. I just think I'm going to stick, to be honest. That's what I think I'm going to do. Okay, so in terms of the results, we have a majority saying no, 59%. Yeah, and then 27 saying yes for James, and then others saying for Robbo. Yeah, I think we keep Trent for long term. Play Trent, bench Digne. I just don't want him coming off. That's the only thing. I don't want him coming off for like a 1-pointer. That's what I'm just worried about. And I think if Gomez is starting right back, Trent won't play. And then he might come off to get some rhythm or something. Should I fix my bench order? So what bench order do you think should be like that? Third on my bench. Let me just make it on my other team then. So what I'm saying about that is I have my like normal FPL team, and then this is FPL.team. So you can't make moves on here. But this is my exact team replicated. Hopefully Vachos bangs, otherwise I could have just done another move. Yeah, so sorry guys for not answering any questions in these last 2 minutes, but I think you understand that things have been a bit mental. Things have been a bit hectic. There's only 1 minute left of the lineup. No other news. But we have had some good news about Trent, and I guess yeah, so Trent's going to be on my bench. And we're going to play Digne. I just favor Digne over Saiz. And unfortunately, that is going to be the time. So, yeah, a little bit of a frantic end to the stream there. So I do apologize. Started late, ended quite weirdly. But hopefully you guys did enjoy it. The moves we have done, Cancelo and Weghorst in. Hopefully the big Dutchman scores, otherwise we're going to be in the mud, because I could have just done maybe Trent out. But yeah, we're playing Digne against Wolves. I mean, they could get a clean sheet, maybe not. Who kind of knows? Maybe some attacking threat, but I would appreciate some payback for the cash news. But thanks for joining the stream, guys. I enjoyed this one. We were quite relaxed, had some very good questions. And as I said, this might be the last stream for about 2 game weeks. But I will try and get as much content out when I am away, or if I can't. Just make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at DavyFPL, because I might do some Twitter spaces. For the members, I'm going to try to launch the Discord channel soon. And you guys can also ask me questions on there. But otherwise, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully Salah bangs. I know everyone probably has him. Hopefully Trent does not bang and actually is on the bench, and all the other players do well. And hopefully the green arrows are in our favor. But otherwise, have a safe weekend. I'm signing off. It's been DavyFPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.